Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and give you the insights you need.
That's right. And today, wow, we're tackling a big one. The entire landscape of personal finance. We're talking planning, insurance, debt, investing, the works.
Yeah, we've got a stack of sources, really comprehensive stuff. And our goal, our mission today, is pretty straightforward, isn't it?
It is. We want to boil it all down for you, the listener, give you clear, practical, jargon-free principles for financial success, for independence, really.
Exactly. And what comes through loud and clear from all this material is that getting ahead financially isn't usually about some secret Wall Street trick.
No, not at all. It's about nailing the fundamentals, getting the foundation right, and maybe even more importantly, getting your mindset right.
So we're cutting through that complexity, all the confusing advice out there, to focus on what truly matters, what actually moves the needle.
Think of it like this. We're handing you the blueprint, not some get-rich-quick scheme, those rarely work, but the real plan for building sustainable control over your financial life.
And that blueprint, interestingly, starts not with spreadsheets or stock tickers, but with you, psychology.
Yeah, exactly. It starts with understanding yourself.
Okay, so self-assessment. People love those personality quizzes, right? That urge to figure ourselves out. Our sources say we need to apply that same lens to our finances. Where do we start?
Well, the absolute starting point is acceptance. You have to look at your current financial reality, whatever it is, square in the face. No blaming.
No blaming fate or where you grew up or anything else.
None of it. That stuff is unwell. It's unproductive. The only thing you can control is what you do now. Your commitment to learning this stuff, to becoming financially literate, that's where the focus has to be.
That sounds simple, but it feels like a big hurdle for many. And often, it's not just lack of knowledge, it's overconfidence. The sources mention the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Ah, yes. This is fascinating stuff, really. Dunning-Kruger did these experiments testing people on logic, grammar, humor, basic skills.
And the results were counterintuitive.
Totally. The people who scored the lowest, the ones who objectively performed the worst, they consistently, radically overestimated how well they did. They thought they were average or even above average.
Well, the top performers, they were more modest.
Often, yeah. They sometimes slightly underestimated their own competence. So you see this inverse relationship.
Okay, so how does that play out in finance? It sounds dangerous.
It is, because the person with the least financial knowledge might be the most confident they know what they're doing. This leads to, well, two big problems.
Which are?
First, they make bad decisions. Wrong investments, taking on too much debt based on, well, not much actual understanding. Second, because they don't know what they don't know, they refuse to admit mistakes. They can't learn.
It's like that driver who thinks they're amazing right before they cause a pileup.
Exactly, that kind of energy. Ignorance breeds confidence, ironically. Real financial wisdom starts with humility, with acknowledging you don't have all the answers.
And without that self-awareness, people get stuck in for what the sources call the rat race.
Yeah, that endless cycle, running hard every day, chasing money, thinking being busy means being productive financially. But often, it's just spinning wheels.
There's a great story that illustrates this, the difference between needs and wants. The Mexican fisherman and the Harvard MBA.
Oh, it's a classic. You have this American banker, probably stressed out on vacation, sees a local fisherman relaxing by his boat, having caught just a few fish.
And the banker brain kicks in. Efficiency. Maximization.
Right. He asks, why aren't you out longer, catching more fish? The fisherman says, I caught enough for my family today.
And he describes his day. Wakes up late, plays with his kids, siesta, maybe plays guitar with friends in the evening. A simple, peaceful life.
But the MBA, he can't compute this. He lays out this grand 15 or 20-year plan.
Catch more fish, buy bigger boats, build a cannery, open an office in New York, go public, make millions.
Exactly. And then, the banker says triumphantly, then you can retire.
And the fisherman asks the million-dollar question.
And what would I do then? The banker beams. Well, you could move to a small coastal village, sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, play your guitar.
And the fisherman just points out, he's already doing that.
It's a powerful point about, chasing goals endlessly versus appreciating the present. But
life isn't quite that simple, is it? Our sources bring it back to earth. What if the fisherman's boat gets damaged? Or his kids need education?
That's the crucial caveat. The story is beautiful, but it ignores risk and responsibility. You need a buffer. You need to plan for the unexpected for future goals. The answer isn't zero ambition or crazy ambition.
It's finding that middle ground. Security plus fulfillment.
Exactly. Enough planning and saving to cover needs, handle emergencies, and fund specific goals without sacrificing your entire life to the grind.
Okay, let's pivot to some concrete roadblocks. These major financial misconceptions that just stop people cold.
Right. Misconception 1. I earn a lot, so I don't need a plan.
That sounds logical, but it's wrong.
Completely wrong. How you manage money is way more important than how much you earn. Big incomes can vanish fast with bad habits. Planning is essential at all income levels.
Okay, misconception 2. My financial growth is basically guaranteed.
No. Big delusion. Think 2008. Think COVID. Think a personal health crisis or a natural disaster. Stuff happens. You absolutely need a plan B. Contingency planning is vital.
And number 5 in the sources. This one hits younger folks. Retirement planning. I'll worry about that in my 40s when I'm earning more.
Oh, this is a big trap. Delaying means you have to save insane amounts later, right when your expenses peak. Kids' college, bigger mortgage, starting small, early. That lets compounding do the heavy lifting. We'll get into that magic later.
It's all about time, isn't it? And the last one, misconception 7. I can learn everything online. I don't need a financial advisor.
Look, financial literacy is fantastic, essential. But we all have blind spots, emotional triggers around money. Making big mistakes is easy. Sometimes you need a specialist, just like you'd see a doctor for a health issue. An advisor can spot things you miss.
Tying this psychology section together is comparison. That constant looking over the fence.
Oh yeah, it's human nature, but it's poison financially. You know, the teacher feels bad compared to the shop owner who's jealous of the IT guy, who envies the director.
Who looks up at the CEO, who wishes they were the billionaire founder. It never ends.
Never. There's always someone richer, faster, luckier, whatever. The only comparison that matters, the only one that's healthy, is you today versus you yesterday.
Did I save more? Did I learn something new? Did I pay down debt? That's the race to focus on.
Absolutely. And getting there starts with that acceptance we talked about. It reminds me of Dr. Kubler-Ross's stages of grief. When things go wrong financially, people often go through denial, anger, bargaining, depression.
But the change only happens at the last stage.
Acceptance. Accepting reality, warts and all. That's the launching pad for taking responsibility and actually starting to, fight back and build something better.
Okay, mindset sorted, acceptance achieved. Let's build the structure. Financial planning. What is it, really, at its core?
It's basically a roadmap, a way to use your income managing expenses, saving, investing, handling debt to reach your specific life goals, like buying a home or retiring comfortably within a certain time frame.
And the timing. When should you start thinking about this roadmap?
Day 1, the day you get your first real paycheck, usually early 20s for most people. Delaying is just, it's shooting yourself in the foot long term. You lose time, and time is your biggest asset here.
Now, there's a psychological point about planning seeming like deprivation. Like you can never spend money on anything fun.
Yeah, that's a misconception too. It's not about being a total Scrooge. It's about intentional spending. Spending the right amount for the right reason at the right time.
The sources mentioned an example, Rishikesh wanting an iPhone.
Right. If buying something specific, even something a bit pricey, genuinely motivates you, boosts your morale, makes you work harder, and you've budgeted for it, that can actually be okay.
But the line is drawn at
spending just to show off, ego-driven purchases, extravagance for its own sake. That's where it derails the plan. Focus on needs, disciplined wants, not keeping up with the Joneses.
Got it. So the first practical tool, the fundamental measure of financial health, net worth. Let's unpack that.
Net worth. It sounds fancy, but is simple math. Assets minus liabilities. What you own minus what you owe.
So everything house, car, savings, investments, minus mortgage, loans, credit card debt.
Exactly. It's the bottom line. If you liquidated everything today and paid off every single debt, what's left? That's your net worth.
It can be a tough number to look at sometimes, especially early on. The example of Rahul.
Yeah. Rahul, 35, renting. He's got a big loan for a fancy trip, credit card debt, money owed to friends. His assets are tiny.
So his liabilities are bigger than his assets.
Correct. He has a negative net worth, which isn't uncommon, particularly with student loans or if you've made some poor spending choices, but it's a starting point.
And the advice is calculate it regularly.
Yes. Honestly, every 3 or 6 months, track it. Separate liquid stuff, like cash, from illiquid things like property. The entire goal of your financial plan should be to make that number go up, consistently, either by growing assets or shrinking liabilities. Or both, ideally.
And the absolute bedrock of managing this, of controlling where the money goes, is budgeting, the B word. Why do people resist it so much?
The B word, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly fear. Fear of facing the truth about where the money actually goes. It forces accountability.
But the goal isn't just restriction, right? It's understanding.
Exactly. It's about seeing the leaks, identifying where you're spending unnecessarily so you can redirect that money towards your goals. Knowledge is power here.
And there's a crucial mindset shift in how you budget. The common way is flawed.
Deeply flawed. Most people do. Income minus expenses equals savings. Whatever's left over, maybe you save it, which is usually
Nothing, or very little.
right. The successful approach, the disciplined way, flips it. Income minus savings equals expenses.
Pay yourself first.
That's the mantra. You decide your savings goal first, automate it if possible, and then you figure out how to live on the rest. It changes everything.
Okay, let's talk practical model. The 50-30-20 rule is probably the best known.
It's a great starting point. 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs. These are the absolute must-haves.
Yeah.
Rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, essential transport, minimum debt payments, non-negotiable stuff.
Then 30% for wants.
Yep. Lifestyle choices, gym, eating out, hobbies, shopping, entertainment, stuff that makes life enjoyable but isn't strictly necessary for survival.
And the last 20%.
That's the golden goose. Savings, investments, and building that crucial emergency fund.
Now, a practical point. What if your needs, like rent in a big city, eat up way more than 50%?
Good question. The percentages aren't set in stone, they're guidelines. If your needs are higher, you might have to drastically cut back on the wants category to protect that 20% savings goal. The principle of saving first is the key, even if the exact numbers shift.
There's also a variation, the 50-20-20-10 model. How does that work?
It's a bit more aggressive on the investment side. Needs are still 50%, wants are squeezed down to 20%.
Okay, so less fun money.
Potentially. Then you have 20% for general savings and debt repayment, maybe building the emergency fund or paying down loans faster. And the final 10% is specifically earmarked for higher risk long-term growth investments.
Like stocks or equity mutual funds.
Exactly. It forces you to allocate a slice directly to wealth-building assets rather than just general savings. It suits someone really focused on growth.
Whichever model you use, that 20% or 30% combined includes the emergency fund. Let's define that. Your true friend, the sources call it.
Ah, yeah. It's your financial firefighter, your contingency fund. It's there for the unexpected disasters. Job loss, a big medical bill, urgent car repairs. It has to be liquid, easily accessible cash.
Not tied up in stocks or real estate.
Definitely not. You need it now when disaster strikes.
How much should be in there? What's the magic number?
The general rule of thumb is 3 to 4 months worth of essential expenses.
Okay, emphasis on essential, not your total monthly spending.
Correct. Just the absolute must-pays. Rent mortgage, basic food, utilities, insurance premiums, minimum loan payments, not the 30% lifestyle stuff.
And there are dangers at both extremes. Too little or too much.
Absolutely. Too little, say 1 month worth, it'll vanish instantly in a real crisis. But too much, like 9 or 10 months worth, is also a problem.
Why is having too much cash bad? Isn't more security better?
It feels safer, but it's actually a drag on your wealth. That excess cash is sitting in a savings account earning next to nothing, probably losing value to inflation each year.
Right. If inflation is 5% and your savings account pays 1%, you're losing 4% of purchasing power.
Exactly. That extra money could be working harder for you in long-term investments. So you find the sweet spot, enough to cover a few months of crisis, but not so much that it becomes dead money.
How do you build it initially? It sounds like a lot.
It takes time. You can't magic it up overnight. Use windfalls like bonuses or tax refunds, dedicate a portion of any salary raise, build it steadily.
And the absolute golden rule.
It is only for emergencies, true emergencies. Not a sale, not a vacation, not a new gadget. If you dip into it for non-emergencies, you're just kidding yourself. You break the whole system. All right, so budget's in place, emergency fund is building. Next pillar, managing risk. This means insurance and getting smart about debt.
First up, insurance. The sources are really emphatic. Insurance is not an investment.
Critically important distinction. They serve completely different purposes. Insurance is about protection, security, providing for dependents if you're gone, covering huge unexpected costs like medical bills or house fires.
While investment is purely about
Growing wealth, making your money make more money. When you mix the two, which many traditional policies do, you usually end up with the worst of both worlds.
You mean low coverage and poor returns.
Pretty much. You pay high premiums for a policy that gives you mediocre savings growth and often not enough actual insurance cover if the worst happens.
This brings us to the big comparison. Term insurance versus traditional endowment plans. What's the key difference listeners need to grasp?
Term insurance is pure protection. Simple. You pay a relatively low premium for a large amount of coverage for a fixed period, say 20 or 30 years. If you pass away during that term, your family gets the payout. If you don't, the policy expires, you get nothing back. It's like renting protection.
And it's cheap because there's no savings component.
Exactly.
Mm.
A healthy 30-year-old might get, say, $1 million of cover for maybe a few $100s a year. It's incredibly cost-effective for maximizing protection.
Okay, versus the traditional or endowment plan.
Yeah.
People like those because they get money back, right?
That's the appeal. They combine insurance with the savings element. You pay much higher premiums, and if you survive the term, you get the sum assured plus some bonuses. It feels safer, like you're not wasting premiums.
But the return on that savings part is usually not great.
Typically very low, often just 4 to 6% per year, which might barely keep pace with inflation, if that. And the actual death benefit for the same premium is usually much, much lower than a term play.
So the smart play mathematically is
By term, invest the difference. Get a high amount of pure protection with a low-cost term plan. Then take the significant amount you saved on premiums compared to an endowment plan and invest that difference yourself in something with better growth potential, like mutual funds.
so you get high protection and potentially much higher long-term wealth.
That's the strategy. Separate the goals, optimize both. Focus on getting enough coverage first. And maybe look at riders like critical illness cover, which pays out if you get diagnosed with a major disease. That can be very helpful.
Beyond life insurance, there's general insurance. Health insurance feels non-negotiable these days.
Absolutely paramount. Medical costs are skyrocketing, rising much faster than general inflation, sometimes 8, 10, even 14% a year. One serious hospital stay can wipe out savings.
So what's a reasonable amount of cover to aim for?
It depends where you live, but maybe start thinking around, say, $50,000 to $100,000 cover in major metro areas, maybe slightly less in smaller towns. You need enough for a few days of hospitalization, tests, procedures.
What are the common mistakes people make when buying health insurance?
2 huge ones. First, not being truthful on the application. Hiding a pre-existing condition. Your claim could be denied right when you need the money most. Be totally upfront.
Okay, honesty is key. What's the second mistake?
Buying a policy just for the tax trade without checking if the coverage actually meets your needs. If the policy has too many exclusions or low limits, that tax saving is worthless when you face a big bill. It's false economy.
Right. Now let's switch gears to the other side of risk. Debt. The sources make a clear split. Good debt versus bad debt.
Yeah, this is a really useful framework. Good debt is borrowing money for something that will likely increase your net worth or future income.
Examples.
A mortgage for a home, usually an appreciating asset. An education loan investing in your future earning potential. Maybe a well-managed business loan to generate more profit. The debt helps you acquire something valuable or productive.
And bad debt is
Borrowing for things that lose value, don't generate income, or are simply beyond your means, things that make you poorer over time. Car loans are a big one. The car drops in value the second you drive it away. Personal loans for vacations or gadgets. And the king of bad debt, credit cards.
Why are car loans singled out? People need cars.
True, but they often become status symbols. People get upsold from a sensible budget to a much more expensive model, locking them into years of high payments for a depreciating asset. It drains cash flow that could be used for saving or investing.
Okay, let's really unpack the credit card trap. The interest rates are the killer feature here, aren't they?
They are absolutely brutal. Using a credit card and paying it off in full every month, that's fine. It's a convenient, short-term, interest-free loan.
But if you carry a balance,
Disaster.
Yeah.
The interest charged on the outstanding amount is typically 3% to 3.5% per month.
per month. So annualized, that's
36% to 42% per year, maybe even higher on some cards. Compare that to a mortgage at, say, 7% or 8%. It's insanely expensive debt.
and the minimum payment is the lure.
It's the trap. Paying only the minimum means most of your payment goes just to cover the interest, barely touching the principal. You can be paying for years and make almost no progress. It's designed to keep you in debt.
What are the warning signs that someone's heading towards serious debt trouble, maybe even bankruptcy?
Income consistently falling short of essential bills. Zero savings. Constant calls from collection agencies, robbing Peter to pay Paul, using one loan or credit card to make payments on another. That's a death spiral.
How do you break free? What's the strategy?
Attack the highest interest debt first, usually credit cards. Pay as much extra as you possibly can, and focus on prepayment and reducing the tenure of loans.
Reducing the time, how does that help?
It saves a massive amount on total interest paid. Let's say you have a $10,000 loan at 10% for 20 years. You'll pay over $13,000 in interest alone.
More interest than the loan itself.
Exactly. But if you buckle down and pay it off in 5 years, the total interest drops to maybe $2,700.
Wow. That's over $10,000 saved just by paying it off faster. That's like a guaranteed investment return.
It absolutely is. Prepaying high-interest debt is one of the best financial moves you can make, and the psychological relief is huge.
What are the psychological benefits of becoming debt-free?
Oh, immense. Your confidence surges. Mental health improves dramatically. You can actually sleep at night. Financial stress poisons relationships, so getting rid of debt often leads to a healthier marriage or partnership. You feel free,
Right.
less afraid of losing your job, more in control.
Okay, one final piece of the risk management puzzle, often overlooked, wills and nominations. Why is this critical?
It's about ensuring your assets go where you want them to go after you're gone, and making sure any minor children are cared for by someone you trust. Without a will, the law decides, and it can lead to ugly family disputes, delays, and legal costs.
When should you make one? Is it only for older people?
No. Make one as soon as you have any significant assets or dependents. Do it while you're young and healthy, mentally sharp. You can always update it later. The last valid will always prevails.
Are there specific legal requirements to make it stick?
Yes. Crucially, it needs to be witnessed by 2 people who are not beneficiaries in the will. They need to watch you sign it, and then sign it themselves in your presence.
And maybe get a doctor's note.
It's highly recommended, though not always legally required. Getting a doctor to certify you were of sound mind when you made the will helps prevent challenges later on grounds of incompetence. It just adds a layer of security.
Right. We've managed risk, built the foundation. Now for the exciting part. Actively building wealth. And you cannot talk about building wealth without starting with the magic of compound interest.
Einstein supposedly called it the 8th wonder of the world. Earning interest on your interest. Money-making babies, essentially.
That's a good way to put it. It sounds simple, but the effect over time is staggering. The key ingredient is time.
This is where that starting early thing really comes into play. The sources had that example, Rahul versus Amit.
Yeah, it illustrates it perfectly. Rahul starts investing, say, $100 a month at age 25, does it consistently until he's 61.
Okay, consistent, long-term, and Amit. Amit waits. Maybe enjoys life a bit more early on, doesn't start investing until age 41, but to catch up, he invests more, $180 a month.
So Amit invests a larger amount each month, but for a shorter time.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Over their careers, they both invested the exact same total amount of principal, let's say around $52,000 total out of their own pockets.
Same investment, but the results vastly different.
Hugely different. Assuming a reasonable 12% average annual return, Rahul, who started early and had 36 years of compounding, his pot grows to over $500,000.
Wow. And Amit, who started late, invested the same total, but only for 15 years.
His pot is around $138,000.
Good grief. Rahul has nearly 3 times more money just because he started 16 years earlier. That's incredible.
That is the raw power of compounding over time. Those early years are disproportionately important.
There's a quick mental shortcut for this, right? The rule of 72.
Yeah, it's a neat trick. Divide 72 by the annual interest rate you expect to earn. The answer is roughly how many years it will take for your money to double.
So at 6% interest, 72 divided by 6, it takes 12 years to double.
Approximately, yes. And at 12% interest, 72 divided by 12, it doubles in just 6 years.
Yeah.
Helps you quickly grasp the impact of different return rates.
But compounding isn't always your friend.
Ah, yes. The double-edged sword. It works just as powerfully against you with debt. That 40% credit card interest, it compounds horribly fast. Being aware of compounding for assets but ignoring it for liabilities, that's a big mistake.
Okay, let's look at actual investment types. Traditional options first. Gold. It has this allure of ultimate safety.
It does. Gold is tangible, it's universally recognized, it's highly liquid. There's an emotional connection, too. And historically, it has held value over the very long term.
But as an investment for growth.
It's often underwhelming compared to other assets. The long-term compounded annual growth rate might only be 7 or 8%, sometimes barely beating inflation. Plus, if you hold physical gold, you have storage costs, security concerns, insurance.
So maybe not the best engine for growth.
Yeah.
What about alternatives like gold bonds?
Sovereign gold bonds, offered by governments in some countries, can be a better way. You get the price appreciation of gold, plus usually a small fixed interest payment each year, and you avoid the storage hassles. They're worth looking into if you want gold exposure.
What about the other classic? Real estate. Owning property.
The oldest investment, probably. It offers potential rental income and price appreciation, especially in growing urban areas. Owning your own home also provides stability.
But it's not without risks.
Definitely not. The biggest issue is liquidity. Selling property can take months, even years. It's hard to access your cash quickly in an emergency. Rental income isn't guaranteed, tenants leave, pandemics happen. And the sources really stress. If you buy property purely as an investment, minimize the loan. High debt on an investment property adds significant risk.
Okay, moving to the more modern growth engines. Stocks and mutual funds. There's still a lot of fear around the stock market, isn't there? Crashes, volatility.
There is, and volatility is real. But letting that fear paralyze you is a huge barrier to building wealth. Look at the long-term picture. Despite crashes, global markets have grown enormously. India's Sensex index went from 100 in 1986 to over 66,000 now. You simply can't afford to ignore equities if you want significant long-term growth.
So what exactly is a share or a stock?
It's simple, really. It's part ownership in a publicly listed company. You buy a tiny piece of Apple or Google or whatever. The price goes up and down based on supply and demand, driven by expectations of the company's future profits.
Now, a crucial distinction people often blur. Trading versus investing.
Yes, absolutely critical. Trading is short-term speculation, trying to make quick profits by buying and selling frequently, often within the same day, intraday trading. It relies heavily on technical charts, momentum. It's high risk.
My risk as in, most people lose money.
Statistically, yes. Studies like the SEBI one mentioned show the vast majority of individual traders, especially in derivatives, lose money. The average losses can be significant. It's often compared, frankly, to gambling.
Okay, so that's trading. What's investing?
Investing is long-term wealth creation. You're buying shares in good companies based on their fundamental value, their profits, management, growth prospects, with the intention of holding them for years, even decades. You ride out the short-term ups and downs. It's about participating in the company's long-term success.
For someone who wants that long-term growth but feels overwhelmed or wants to reduce risk, mutual funds are the way to go.
For most people, absolutely. They're arguably the best entry point. Interestingly, the concept isn't new. The first mutual fund was started back in the 1770s in the Netherlands by Abraham van Ketwich.
After a market crash.
Exactly. He wanted to create a way for smaller investors to pool their money and reduce risk through diversification. His fund's motto was Ingrat macht unity creates strength.
And that principle still holds true today. What are the main benefits?
3 big ones. First, diversification. The fund invests in dozens, maybe hundreds of different stocks or bonds. If one company does poorly, it doesn't sink your whole investment. Less risk than picking individual stocks.
Okay, safety in numbers.
Second, professional management. You have experts researching companies, making buy-sell decisions. You leverage their expertise. Third, accessibility and discipline. You can often start with very small amounts through systematic investment plans, SIPs, maybe $50 or $100 a month. It automates saving and investing, building discipline.
With so many funds out there, how does someone choose? Equity, debt, hybrid?
It depends on your risk tolerance and goals. Equity funds aim for high growth via stocks, but come with higher volatility. Debt funds focus on stability via bonds, offering lower returns but less risk. Hybrid funds mix both for a balance. You also need to look at the expense ratio, the annual fee, and the fund charges. Lower is generally better.
And there's a tax angle, too, particularly with ELSS funds.
Yes, in some tax systems, like India's equity-linked savings schemes, ELSS, offer a double benefit. You get a tax deduction on the investment amount, and they have the shortest lock-in period among tax-saving options, just 3 years. Plus, long-term capital gains from equity up to a certain limit are often tax-free annually. Very efficient. Okay, knowledge is building, investments are starting, but with opportunity comes danger. We have to talk about scams and fraud. The sources are blunt. The root cause is greed. Lobha, that urge to get rich quick.
It makes people vulnerable, blinds them.
Totally. It overrides common sense. Which leads us to the classic scam, the Ponzi scheme.
Named after Charles Ponzi back in the 1920s. How does it work?
Simple but effective. The fraudster promises incredibly high, guaranteed returns, way higher than any legitimate investment, like 10% a month, 120% a year. They collect money from new investors.
And use that new money to pay the promised returns to the earlier investors.
Exactly. It looks like it's working for a while. People reinvest, tell their friends, but there's no actual investment happening. It's just shuffling money around. It collapses the second the flow of new money slows down.
This is the #1 red flag.
Unbelievably high, guaranteed returns. And the scheme is almost always unregistered with financial authorities like the SEC or RBI or FCA. If it sounds too good to be true, run away.
Then there are pyramid schemes, often disguised as multi-level marketing, MLM.
Right. These often use more emotional manipulation, big flashy conferences, promises of changing your life, pressure to recruit your friends and family.
And often there's a product involved, but it's secondary.
Usually. Often you're forced to buy an expensive starter kit of, well, often junk. Overpriced vitamins, useless courses, stuff nobody actually wants. The real money is made not from selling the products, but from recruiting more people below you in the pyramid.
What's the fatal flaw there? The math problem.
The math just doesn't work. If everyone needs to recruit, say, 6 people, the number of people required grows exponentially. Within a dozen levels, you'd need more recruits than there are people on Earth. Only the tiny fraction at the very top ever make money. Everyone else inevitably loses.
The Speak Ages scam was mentioned. Huge numbers of people duped.
Tragic. Millions lost money chasing an impossible promise of easy returns.
Right.
That lure of quick money is powerful. And fraud evolves. We now see lots of digital and trading scams.
Like fake experts.
Yeah, people calling you out of the blue, claiming to have hot stock tips, offering to manage your trading account for guaranteed profits, often operating from shady call centers. They gain your trust, get access to your money or account, and poof, it's gone.
And pump and dump schemes, how do those work?
Nasty. Scammers pick a small, thinly traded stock, a penny stock. They buy up shares cheaply, then aggressively promote it online via text, social media. This stock is the next multi-bagger. Buy now.
Creating artificial hype and demand.
Exactly. Naive investors jump in, pushing the price up rapidly. Once it peaks, the original scammers dump all their shares at the inflated price, making a huge profit.
And everyone else is left holding worthless stock as the price crashes.
Precisely. Pure manipulation.
Okay, this is scary stuff. Let's nail down a final precautionary checklist for listeners.
Rule number 1, absolutely fundamental. Never, ever trust any investment promising huge guaranteed returns quickly. Legit investments involve risk and take time.
Rule 2, protect your data.
Never share sensitive financial details, passwords, PINs, CVV numbers on your card, one-time passwords, OTPs with anyone, especially over the phone or email. Banks will never ask for this. Be wary of callers pretending to be from your bank or a tech company. Senior citizens are often targeted.
Rule 3, your accounts are yours alone.
Never let anyone else trade using your brokerage or bank account. You are responsible for all activity in your name. Don't give remote access to anyone offering to trade for you.
And the final gut check.
Trust your instincts. If something feels off, if someone is pressuring you to act immediately, if it seems too easy, it probably is a scam. Pause. Step back. Do your own research. A legitimate opportunity won't vanish overnight. Better safe than deeply sorry.
Wow. Okay, that was a truly deep dive.
Yeah.
We've covered a massive amount of ground, from mindset to practical tools to investment strategies and warnings. Let's try and summarize the absolute core takeaways.
I think number 1 is financial planning isn't optional and it needs to start now. Today. Don't wait. Time is your most powerful ally, thanks to compounding.
Number 2, get crystal clear on needs versus wants. Live within your means, using a budget. Remember, income minus savings equals expenses. And build that 3 to 4 month emergency fund. It's non-negotiable.
Number 3, manage risk intelligently. Separate insurance, get adequate term cover for protection from investment. Use things like mutual funds for growth. And ruthlessly eliminate high-interest bad debt, especially credit cards.
And finally, investing for the long haul. Embrace equities through diversified vehicles like mutual funds, be consistent, ignore the short-term noise, and stay vigilant against scams promising easy riches.
You know, financial independence, it's not really about hitting some magic number like $1 million or whatever. It's about reaching a state where you control your money instead of your money, or lack of it, controlling you. It's about reducing that daily financial stress and anxiety.
Gaining control, gaining peace of mind. That feels like the real goal.
It is.
As we wrap up, our sources offered a powerful closing thought, connecting ancient wisdom to this very modern struggle. It's from the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. Lord Krishna tells the warrior Arjun, essentially, look, if you die fighting honorably on the battlefield, you attain heaven. If you win, you rule the earth. Therefore, stand up and fight. Do your duty.
How does that ancient call to action relate to balancing your checkbook or choosing a mutual fund?
The battlefield is life. Financial struggles, market downturns, unexpected expenses. They're inevitable. You can't always control the outcome. But your duty, your focus, must be on the action.
On doing the work.
On doing the work. Continuous learning, discipline, saving and investing, making rational decisions, acting ethically. Your financial situation might fluctuate, but how you act, how you prepare, how you fight that battle, that is absolutely within your control.
So the message is, don't be passive. Resolve to stand and fight for your financial future.
That's the essence of it. Take control. Start today.
Powerful stuff. Go forth, manage your risks, build your wealth. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.